There we are.
Are we on?
There she is. Yes, I think we are. This is the Jimmy Doane Show, everybody. Everyone, as we say.
Everyone, right.
I forgot to do my notifications today. I forgot to go back. Anyway, this is the show. It's live. It's too late now. If you're not here, you can see it later on YouTube. I'll have all the subjects timestamped. We'll also post a copy up on Twitter in video format, and then we're in audio around the web, various places. So look for us under Jimmy Doane, D-O-A-N-E. Today is the 29th of September, 2019. What's happening?
Well, what do you think is happening?
In the universe.
Oh my God, I'll tell you,
Well,
everything in the world is about impeachment. I mean,
Nothing
they
that
have
has
really
to do with the president.
No, but it's just unbelievable. I mean, when you see the people that are out there, I mean, I think they smell blood in the water.
Well, I thought it was going to be another "it's the beginning of the end" montage.
Right.
But it lasts as long as they can keep it going. That's
okay. Well, I thought it was interesting that I got a couple of things here, a couple of articles that I might mention. Of course, first it had to do with this whistleblower guy.
Okay, what about him?
Well, we don't know who he is, of course, and of course, even everybody understands that what the whistleblower guy put out was hearsay.
Yeah.
So
well, we mentioned that last time.
I know we did.
It just comes down to whether or not he followed the protocol to get the info.
Right, and somebody seemed to think that he went up the chain or whatever it was and command.
Maybe we'll see.
But I thought that this was interesting, and certainly no crocodile tears here. The headline was Pelosi is, quote, heartbroken and prayerful, unquote, as the Democrats move forward with the impeachment inquiry. This is a very sad time for our country. There's no joy in this, she said. We must be somber, we must be prayerful, and we must pursue the facts further to make a decision as to did this violate the Constitution, which I believe it did. So she's
good, man.
She's crying. She's somber. This is the worst thing I don't want to do this. I mean, I've been dragged into it.
Yeah.
I'm heartbroken about it. I would just hope there would be something exculpatory that would say, no, this isn't what it
She said that?
Yeah, exculpatory. She used that word. Not what it meant to be. And I think right now there's a cover-up of the cover-up.
Sure.
This really goes beyond the pale. So that's what she is. So the apparently all this had to do with some secret server that some people used.
Trump storing the information on this server or that server.
It was a special server that's used by the CIA or somebody when they have super sensitive stuff that it can't be broken into. I don't know. Maybe they carry the envelope over there and put it in the server or something. Because otherwise, if it's on the interweb, somebody's going to hack it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I noticed that one thing that I did see in almost all the articles here was the word bombshell. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is something that is way beyond the. I mean, I'm laughing.
Well, that's part of the. It's the beginning of the end reel.
Yeah.
Bombshell.
Accused of bombshell whistleblower complaint of abusing the power to force Ukraine's president to investigate Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Then running a cover-up in a highly classified computer to lock down, quote unquote, the call.
What's unfortunate is that when we get the real Hitler guy and everybody comes out and says this is a bombshell, and man, this guy's acting like a fascist, everybody will be like, yeah, you said that about the last guys.
Yeah. So anyway, I went through the list of stuff here that has been accused of. Using his power to solicit interference from a foreign country. He apparently, it started with the when he was given the speech down there, and as a joke he said, yeah, okay, well, if they're hacking us, bring it on, I want to see what are emailed. And of course they considered that to be open treason, asking a foreign country to investigate.
I'd like to cross-examine anybody who says they believe that was a solicitation for help.
Again, it's what it was that I was looking at the other day when somebody was being interviewed, and boy, they didn't give up any of it.
Well, people would probably defend their if they stood on it then, they may say, no, that was definitely solicitation. I'm sure I've got some friends who would say that. But I'd like to cross-examine them about it nevertheless, because
it'd be fun.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, Rudolph Giuliani is accused of being a central figure, and Bill Barr, Attorney General Bill Barr, appears to be involved.
Bill Burr?
Bill Burr. Yeah, no, Bill Barr appears to be involved. And of course, the president is advancing his own personal interest.
See, these are all nebulous terms.
I'm going down. I'm going through them. White House lawyers feared the officials who listened to the call, witnessed the personal abuse, so forth. The White House lawyers tried to, quote, lock down the call in a classified computer system usually used for covert action without justification. Other politically sensitive, rather than national security sensitive, must be dealt with in the same way. But anyway, the point was, as you said, I'm looking here at the 9 or 10 things, and they're just like word salad. I mean, it's just, it's not, it's just funny, I think. But the main thing is that not only Rudy Giuliani, we're worried about him now because what's he doing, and Bill Barr appears to be involved as his...
Sure, I heard Maxine Waters said that Mike Pence, the VP, was involved also.
Now, he's been subpoenaed.
No, that's Parlapiano, or no, what's his name, Papadopoulos, or...
No?
What's the other guy?
The other guy?
Yeah, well, the national security guy.
Right, okay.
But I'm talking about Pence, the vice president.
Oh, right,
See,
not Pence.
The problem that the Democrats have is, let's say they hit a home run and they get Trump out. Then they've got Pence as the president? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like you get...
I'm only going to sit down with my wife. Yeah. So anyway, they're talking about this stuff.
Get back, Angela Merkel.
Yeah. What was the other one though? The
Marie Le Pen.
Let's see. That was the other one that's Mike Pompeo.
That's it.
That's been demand testimony from other State Department officials. The House Democrats subpoenaed Secretary Mike Pompeo on Friday afternoon to the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Oversight Committee, and the Intelligence Committee, and they've given them until October 4th to respond. So three of the committees that are, and they're also seeking testimony from the whistleblower. That'll be interesting to see if that guy ever shows up.
Well, he will.
Yeah. Somebody said the CIA, apparently he's gone back to the CIA, and they've closed ranks.
Maybe not, but I don't think you get out of that one. If they're moving forward with that, your identity's coming out, I think. But
we'll find out. We're in the early stages. Okay.
Yeah.
But moving along, two things that I've got here. One little kind of a little light note, and then something I need legal stuff on, and that is a vegan has been traumatized for life after being served pork sausage at a place called Greg's. The woman claims she started having heart palpitations, broke down in tears after being served a sausage roll that contained sausage. Okay, I understand that, but she realized, and she said her heart was going crazy. But I thought one of the things she returned to the shop and was offered a £2 refund. This was in England. But unhappy with this, she called the consumer hotline, and they offered her £30, and she turned it down. So I don't know how traumatized. And that's big money. Well, I imagine that the sandwich probably wouldn't be about £2. And
well,
that's how traumatized she was. But she went back, I guess, to complain or something. And why would you ever darken their door again? This is vegan.
Well, yes. Well, maybe so. But I can understand a little bit. It's I know somebody who went vegan, and now if they eat anything meat oriented, they get sick. They just get sick.
Okay, I can understand this, but does that include eggs and cheese and?
Well, I don't know for her, but that for sausage, I can certainly see that as being one of them. And I have a few friends who are in that situation. So what probably happened is they probably cleared it with him first and said, "Look, there's no sausage in this sausage."
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I mean, and then it's like, well, okay, really? Like I asked you, they're usually pretty careful about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
it is going to be interesting.
£30, you take what you can get, I would say.
£30? You got to be kidding me. That's
yeah, exactly. That's a little bit.
She was standing, okay. Okay, now here's something that I
what else you going to do?
Yeah, I guess I need a little legal advice on this.
Okay.
The Supreme Court gives police a green light
Don't say anything. Oh, sorry. Go
to
ahead.
shoot first and think later. The Supreme Court ruled that a police officer could not be sued for gunning down Amy Hughes. Now, apparently Amy was standing there with a knife in her hand. And they said, put down the knife, or I'm going to shoot.
Right.
And she didn't put down.
She didn't do it.
They blasted her 4 shots. She wasn't suspected of a crime. She was just standing there with a kitchen knife at her side. Officer gave no warning. Gave no warning that he was going to shoot her if she did not. Gave no warning. Then the officer shot her 4 times. So anyway, apparently, according to this article, in 1982, this qualified immunity business wasn't as strong as it is as now it is. Interestingly enough, the 2 dissenters were Sotomayor and Ginsburg, and which means that all the conservatives went with the police and said this was reasonable. I don't know if you feared for your life, but you disobeyed a command by the police and you died. And I'm one of these that says, look, this is what I think they should be held accountable. To be honest with you, I really do. I think it's too much. They're too gun happy. The police are. I was watching a thing the other day where nowadays, whenever a police person walks up, they have their hand on their gun. They walk up very carefully, and I guess they fear for their life. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, you've raised a whole bunch of issues with that particular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm with you on some levels. There's a lot of ways we can de-escalate the confrontation between police and regular people these days through the use of drones and cameras and things like that. I think that'll change the metric, and also the self-driving car situation will change the metric. And if they finally get around to legalizing drugs, it will be back to the 1950s style police officer walking the beat looking for the guy busting into somebody's home or something.
Or in the store.
Yeah. And so that would be much improved from where we are now. But this is a natural consequence of where we've come from. That is to say, they have to afford a lot of protection to the officers, and really it's probably the same standard that they should apply overall, which is it's a reasonable doubt standard. That is to say, it may not be clear and convincing. That is to say, those are 2 different standards: reasonable doubt and clear and convincing.
Yeah, then we'll talk about that.
Okay. Well, this is perfectly illustrated in that particular. To me, they give officers a reasonable doubt, which is what they should give to us, but they don't anymore. It's a little bit different. It's hard to get past that. You have to have a good lawyer. But you got a different story that relates.
Well, it just says here in 1982, it meant that quote a reasonable person would have known an action was unlawful. Fast forward to 2010, and quote clearly established meant that every reasonable official would have understood that what he was doing violates somebody's rights. So I'm not sure what
I'm not sure I would draw the line there. I mean, that's to me that's the same read of.
It says here the difference between a and every may seem technical, but as somebody pointed out and late Judge Stephen Reinhardt explained, the change marks the difference between a measured fair notice standard under which it was possible to hold law enforcement accountable, and what we now have is protects all but the plainly incompetent and those who knowingly violate the law.
Mm-hmm.
So that's...
Well, it sounds like they've made it a little bit easier, and I haven't checked the case law in that particular area.
No, I haven't. I didn't read it, but
I'm fine with that. That also is... There's another story that's back in the news that we reported on a while ago, which is the Texas officer who accidentally shot the man in his own apartment.
Right.
And she said she thought it was her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the trial is happening right now, finally. And several things have come to light, which, from my perspective, pretty much exonerate her.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw some of that stuff too. I mean, I saw some of the stuff that attempted to exonerate her, But I'm thinking, really?
Well, a lot of people, they said, for example, park on the wrong floor in that apartment complex.
Right.
And when they do that, they always go to the wrong door because of the way the elevators are.
Right.
So if that happens regularly, that means the layout is similar from floor to floor, and you can't tell that this is your door until you go in, basically.
Okay.
She explained the other thing that we had a hard time with, which was how did her key open the door if it wasn't her door? And what she said was as soon as she went to put the key into the keyhole, the door swung open. So that was the first thing that alarmed her, was that the door was open already.
Okay.
So she went straight into oh shit mode, basically.
Okay.
And drew her weapon, and then the guy came around the corner, and this is exactly the same thing. The guy kept walking towards her, even though she was saying stop, halt, don't, whatever. He was saying it's okay, or hey, 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 or something like that, and she shot it.
And it was a shadow anyway, I think. I think they said it was the light was behind
Well,
him.
you can't call people that anymore.
No, that's...
no.
Okay.
No, but all I'm saying is that they gave
that's
her,
good.
or I think, hopefully they'll give her, she took the stand, which is like, you never do that.
Yeah,
as a
you never do
defendant.
that, right.
And she had the right emotion in the right spot from what I saw. So it seems to me like that was all a big accident. And I don't know how. The third thing that we never talked about was whether they had a relationship or something. But you can see it. She only lived in place for a couple of months. So what? So they winked at each other in the elevator once or twice or something. But who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the standard. It should be clear and convincing. You can be clearly convinced of one thing that you think happened. You think she definitely shot him. But if there's a reasonable hypothesis that's consistent with innocence, that's what you're supposed to go with.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. Well, this is okay. Now there was some more stuff on that, but it had to do with how the qualified immunity has been expanded on that thing. Let's see. Okay. Now here's another item that I thought was kind of interesting. Aubrey O'Day, who is apparently some kind of a singer and more or less famous person.
Okay.
She got on an American Airlines flight, and she was wearing a T-shirt that said "fuck you" or something on it. I mean, literally, F-U-C-K, whatever, something on it. And the attendant there, the flight attendant, said, "You can't come on here with that. You need to turn it inside out. That you can. If you turn it inside out, you can do it." So she's suing them, or she was upset. Never have I been treated such a way. And she made me. They made me. She wanted them to fire them. She tweeted, "Please fire this guy because he was over the top, making me undress in front of the entire plane because he didn't like my shirt and made me turn it inside and out in order to fly." And she thought that he needed to be. Well, I thought one of the things I thought was interesting was you go to the bathroom and do it if that's what it is. I mean, you don't stand out in there. And she had a bra on, whatever. Yeah. But of course, she's obviously not unattractive. And it must have been in front of the first class when you think about where you get on. So, I literally had to have my breasts in a bra out in front of everyone in order for me not to get kicked off. And, so forth and so on. And of course, as somebody once said, how did she ever get through the gate? I mean, when you're going through the gate and your ticket, they're tearing your stub. I mean, why didn't the person? They said, "Whoa! What are you doing?"
Well, this is of course one of those sort of pseudo gray areas, and obviously this girl likes to push the envelope,
right?
And she likes to push people's buttons by wearing the shirt. So, and this one flight attendant just wasn't having it.
Right.
Everybody else was okay, looking the other way, and this girl was like, "No, you got an easy option, which is turn it inside out," and then. From the facts, you would infer that she just whipped her shirt off in order to again shock people, without thinking of going to the bathroom or even wanting to, and then tries to turn it around and blame it on the girl as some sort of sexual assault or something.
Yeah,
but
shamed in front of everybody.
Sure.
I'll bet she. No, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
All right. Next item I've got here. Moving right along. Jeez, we're moving on pretty quick. I hope you got stuff. Cause,
I got a couple things.
Okay. A single I thought this is one of these things. This is a scary thing again.
What's that?
We had a lot of stuff on climate change, of course. I think I'm going to talk about that some. A single tea bag can leak billions of pieces of microscopic plastic into your brew. It's now in our oil. It's every part, microscopic, this, that, and the other. Plastic tea bags are shredding billions of shards of microplastics into your water, according to a new study. They analyzed the effects of placing 4 different commercial tea bags into boiling water, and they found that a single bag releases about 11.6 billion microplastic particles. Now, no offense, but I'm thinking how many billion again? 11 billion pieces of something in a cup of tea. It got to be invisible. I mean, it got to be like nothing there. I mean,
oh yeah, they're talking about,
it wouldn't even cloud the water.
11 billion nanograms or
right.
something.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Look, you know that's the case because they didn't define the weight of whatever the.
Well, not only that, they came, and the conclusion was the health effects are unknown. Okay, well.
Right. So in other words, you've been poisoned. You're about to drop dead any second now.
Yeah, any second now.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just showing our people here a little slideshow of some various pollution graphs. Now interestingly, they conflict with one another. There's a lot of stuff in here about, now this one has nanometer of length of plastic right here, the abundance of it and how you can see a lot of stuff is at the micro level, but they also tell you how much in pounds each country is releasing, and a whole bunch of countries, one up against the other, and we do really well in that category, as you would imagine. But this also has conflicting graphs in terms of how long it takes for certain objects to deteriorate. So I have no idea which ones are accurate. Some of them seem like they make a little bit of sense. Other ones don't. Some of them have, for example, I don't know what this is down in the right-hand corner. It says it never decomposes. And like the birthday balloon, it says never decompose. Really? Like you think we made something that is never going to break up? Like you wish our spacecraft would be made of that stuff.
Well, not only that, it would be, when you think about it, I mean, you would think that something is not going to decompose is like a rock, and they decompose.
Well, right. That's the other thing is they've got some in here have glass bottles as being of infinite length and durability.
Well, good news because when the aliens show up here in 1 billion years or so, they will know what we drank.
That's right. They'll still.
What is this Coca-Cola?
Exactly. Because they never decompose.
Well, it is, one of the things that I remember one time seeing, they dug up a landfill for some reason or another. I forget, maybe they're going to methane it or something like that. And they found like 60-year-old newspapers in there, all stacked together.
Well, my favorite one was when they found all those video games.
Really?
And they went back and dug up a big pallet of original video games.
Oh my God. eBay, here I come.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so I'm not too worried about it, but I just think that every time you turn around, there's another scare tactic.
Propaganda.
The plastic is coming.
One of those images is like a very sad-looking seal that's all tied up in fishing line.
Well, there's one of those. Of course, what you do are the hero ones, where the one guy is saving a manta ray, a giant manta ray, and the ray seems to know it. If you had,
after he's done, the ray has sex with him.
Well, just about right. Yeah, okay. Gives him a blowjob.
That's right.
Here's my mouth.
The whale shark.
And there was a whale that they got freed and so forth. So and a porpoise. You get videos of this stuff all the time. It's great. Speaking of animals, of course, this is really good. An orangutan with human rights to begin a new life in Florida.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, an orangutan which spent 20 years in an Argentine zoo is being moved to a U.S. animal sanctuary after being the same legal rights as humans. This is good. Lawyers won a landmark appeal for Sandra, I don't know, in 2014 to argue she was being detained in Buenos Aires illegally. So they freed her, the lawyers. First non-human person with the right to liberty. The 33-year-old arrived in Kansas on Friday and will undergo tests before moving to her new home in Florida. Of course, this is what we do. we have some illegal aliens here, but this is obviously going to be, I guess she's going to get a driver's license and, be one of us.
Vote.
Yeah, and vote. Hell yeah. That seems only reasonable. Human rights. What else? Health care. Let's see. She's probably too old to go to college, but maybe not. Free this and housing. Of course, she's going to get free housing. So this is good. The judge, Elena, I love this, Liberatori, Judge Elena Liberatori, who has a picture of Sandra in her office, told AP News Agency she wanted her ruling to send a message that animals are sentient beings and the first right they have is our obligation is to respect them. So,
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not. Actually, that's really what separates us from them, is that they can't understand what's happening in the courtroom. So whatever rights are being extended to them are being extended to their representative when it comes down to it. It's whoever's ordering the lawyer to do.
But you could teach them sign language.
Sure. So
you
didn't have to do that. What I would do if I were the representative is I would bring the ape in the other room and then come out and say, well, this is what she said.
You're right. I'm an ape whisperer.
Well, yeah. Well, we talked for a while, and I just know this is what she wants is she wants y'all to buy a nice big house. And
by me, a nice big
well, I will have to live there.
Yeah.
It's part of our arrangement. I've agreed to caretake.
It's like the Clint Eastwood movie.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And she wants it on the ocean.
Yeah, right.
And
view.
That's right. Well, and so if she's got the cash, then that's what you do.
She's suing for money.
Well, sure. And you sue because of the horrendous animal-like conditions that she's been kept in up to this point.
Yeah. Well, she was in a zoo and apparently she was mistreated and everything, and that happens.
Exactly.
And that doesn't seem okay.
So back pay and
back pay. Yeah, that's right. She was held in a prison for 33 years. You get paid for that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
A few $1 million, and
seems a little enough.
She'll settle.
And the attorney wouldn't take more than 2/3.
That depends.
Yeah, that's right. It depends. Now here's the next thing that is big deal, and I think we chatted about this a little bit. I know you were up on this, and I thought it was fascinating. And that is Hillary gearing up for?
Yes.
Is she?
Come on, Hillary.
No, she wants to stage a do-over against corrupt human tornado Trump. Wait a minute.
Oh, man.
It gets better. She apparently... Now,
fun.
today's Sunday. We can watch it, but she was on Face the Nation or one of the shows this morning.
I heard or read that she had a full media week for the first
Full media week. I heard that, too. She's it says, based on bookies' bets and a few recent actions, speculation is once again starting to grow that Hillary Clinton may be about to enter the Democratic presidential race. The repeatedly failed presidential candidate has suddenly a full media schedule this week. CBS Sunday Morning and Stephen Colbert and The View, among others. On The View, she's going to be worshipped.
Well, they may put it to her on The View. They may ask her.
What?
If she's going to run.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. So the Clinton, she said that things happened during the 2016 campaign that will not happen again, implying that she may be planning to run.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there are many funny things that happened in my election that will not happen again, she said, and I'm hoping that both the public and the press understand the way that Trump plays the game. Whatever that is. She called, of course, Donald Trump an illegitimate president and accused of him by using voter purging and suppression. Okay? I believe he understands that the many varying tactics they used, from voter suppression and voter purging to hacking to false stories, he knows there's just a bunch of different reasons of why the election turned out as it did. So what she's gearing up for, I guess, is what?
Yeah, you do a month of rounds, I guess, and you see how...
Chelsea's traveling with her, I think.
Okay.
So,
I think she's got nothing to lose. I think she has nothing to lose to... what you do is
she's going to suck the oxygen out of everything, though, for a while.
Good.
That's the way Trump did it.
Yeah.
So you can...
Well, as I said originally, I thought what her strategy would be to come in at the last minute.
Well, this is getting to be the last
It
minute.
is. When is Iowa?
January sometime.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to sort of get in before Christmas these days.
Yeah.
And I would think nobody does anything over the holidays in terms of your volunteers and all that kind of stuff. I would bet that's a big giant lull. And so
Well, she's got to compete with.
October is your last month to do something in earnest.
Well, it is interesting because
That's tomorrow.
You got to ask yourself, right? Exactly. What's interesting to me is the stories that are going to consume all the time.
Mm-hmm.
One is going to be the impeachment. I mean, they're talking about bringing the articles before Christmas.
Sure. Okay.
Or Thanksgiving or whatever. That's going to be a
So
daily
far, there's
news
nothing to talk over.
Okay.
I mean, unless more comes out about the transcript, there's more information, more quid pro quo, more anything, then it's.
Well, so anyway, the question is she going to get all the press? Certainly if she's going to get this week.
Sure. That would be her goal.
That would be her goal. And
all she got to do is push Elizabeth Warren out of the way.
Well, interesting you should mention that. There are 12 people that are
Hold
qualified
Bernie down, just kind of nail the floor over the top of him again.
There are 12 people scheduled for the debate, the next debate.
October 15th. Right. Well, what she'd do is she wouldn't get in until then. What she'd do is you let them have the debate, and then you come out the next day and you say, all right, this is just a huge mess.
There you go.
I have to save it. Obviously, these guys are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And at that point, several of those people would be written off anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So she could come in the top 6 or 7.
Absolutely.
And probably, I would think she would be the instant front runner again. I think she would steal it right from Joe again. And Joe endorsed her last time. She probably got endorsements from Joe and Warren and everybody.
Yeah. They love me then. Why not? Yeah, exactly. No, that would really be fun. I mean, if she jumps in, man, I'll tell you, it's going to be a free for all.
It would be a lot better. It would be so much more entertaining.
Oh my God, I'll tell you, we could really have. I mean, it could be like 2016 all over again. It'd be so much fun. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit about. Hate crimes.
Okay.
The OK hand gesture.
Oh.
What is it?
Yeah.
Has been has added to a growing list of hate symbols for white supremacy.
Yes.
This is according to the ADL, which is a Jewish organization. They have about 200 things that they call hate symbols.
Yeah, they have about 200 members too. I mean,
that may be, but I tell you what, I thought was, maybe they're on a par with the Southern Poverty Law Center, or whoever.
From my perspective, anybody who puts OK sign on their hate list is on par with the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right. Well, it's not only that. I tell you, I went through their list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I pulled up their list. A lot of it is gang stuff, and there's a bunch of. I didn't print them out because they were a lot of flags. Also, symbols.
Okay.
And they called those hate symbols. But it was amazing how many numbers. 13. And that refers to this. 23, that refers to so. These are hate. It's the 23rd letter of the second and the third, and on and on and on. I mean,
4 is a big one in Japan.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now, they went through. There was at least 15, maybe 20 things that were just simply numbers. Mm-hmm. And there were some words that were fairly innocuous, but these indicated
colors or something.
White supremacy. Well, they did have a bunch of badges, and we don't need no stinking badges. No, the badges that they had were on their arms and tat. A lot of them were gang related. White supremacists. Well, okay, I can understand that, but
how do you even? What does that even mean?
They're right. Well, that's exactly. But these people. The ADL people have determined they added like 30 new ones in the last month or so to their list of 170 or 200 or whatever. So I went through the list just for laughs, and I'll tell you,
they added the word hoser.
Yeah.
As
well,
described.
It's just I was blown away. The number 14. Well, what 14? I mean, this is a hate number. I'm thinking you can't count anymore. 14. Now I will tell you this: that the numbers do matter. And there's the one where the guy walks into the bar, and there's a bunch of old folks sitting around the tables, and every once in a while somebody will holler out a number, and they break into hysterics. They're laughing. They think it's the funniest thing. And the guy walks up and says, what's so funny about that? Well, you see, we've told these jokes so many times, we've numbered them. And so we know what joke number 14 is. And it was funny, and we're laughing. And so that was the silence.
Yep, that's what we do at the Comedy Store, too.
Yeah, that's it. A man who berated a woman over a T-shirt with a Puerto Rican flag is convicted of a hate crime. A Chicago man who was seen last year, widely viewed on video, berating a woman in a city park for wearing a T-shirt with the Puerto Rican flag, was convicted this week of 2 felony hate crime charges.
Which were what?
Let's see. He could face up to 5 years in prison. Let's see. It was after the jury. It was a jury trial, 3.5 hours. Tribus, whatever, could face up to 5 years in prison and a sentence for his role in the June 14th, 2018 episode, which he repeatedly asked the woman if she was an American citizen and demanded to know why she was wearing a shirt with the Puerto Rican flag. He was charged with disorderly conduct and assault. He was later charged with felony hate crimes in connection with the episode. 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, that's
harsh.
Yeah, it is. So it's interesting. So what they charged him with, as you can imagine the first time, disorderly conduct and assault.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to prove those things, they might get a disorderly conduct conviction out of it because, okay, yelling and screaming at just some random person in the park, okay, you can't do that. Assault means that you scared them, and it means specifically that you scared them, that they thought you were going to hit them.
Okay.
So that's how assault is defined.
So battery is when you actually touch it.
Exactly.
So assault, you don't even have to touch it.
Exactly. But you kind of have to go like this.
Okay.
And so you if the guy didn't do that, and he probably didn't, then that would be dropped. But they weren't satisfied with that and now they don't have to be, because as I mentioned earlier in the show, they've turned it around. They've really taken the intent requirement out of law for us. Mm-hmm. And so now there's this, felony. It's just a hate crime because I'm sure to refer to someone as a nationality other than that which they identify or something.
Well, except for the fact that she may have been Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
she was identifying as Puerto Rican.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just, get out of the country, go back to Puerto Rico.
Well, that may be why he tried to take it to trial. But interesting. So he lost. So we're going to spend $30,000 a year to keep this guy in prison for whatever.
That's right. Well, it gets even better.
Oh.
The last item I've got today is this: the city bans. This is New York City. The New York City is bans calling someone an illegal alien out of hate.
That's what I was referring to.
Okay, okay?
I was inferring that was probably the type of statute that was associated with the.
Well, one was in Chicago, but this is New York.
Yeah.
Now it's against the law to threaten someone to call an immigration. If you threaten to call immigration authorities on somebody, that's a hate crime.
Yeah. Well, we saw that last week.
Yeah. The violations are punishable by fines up to $250,000 per offense, and it outlined a 29-page directive released by City Hall's Commission on Human Rights. Okay, alien, used in many laws to refer to a non-citizen person, is a term that may carry negative connotations and dehumanize immigrants, marking them as other, reads the passage on the memo. The use of certain language, including the term illegal alien and illegals, with intent to demean, humiliate, or offend a person or persons, constitutes discrimination. And they give some examples. Now, I don't have all the examples here, but apparently one: a hotel prohibits its housekeepers from speaking Spanish while cleaning because it would offend the hotel guests and make them uncomfortable, reads one hypothetical. So
that's a violation?
Yeah, that's a violation. Yeah, if you prohibit your housekeepers from speaking Spanish because it might offend somebody, that is
wow.
Yeah. If there was several of them, they gave several of them, and they were just off the wall. I mean, if you go back and read this, it was
all right. Well, to continue downward in the law enforcement category, there is and I'll try to get the jurisdiction here. Chicago. There's another Chicago issue.
Why are we not surprised?
Yeah. So there was a rule instituted by the Department of Children and Families that said, basically, if you don't comply with your doctor's recommendations in terms of your prenatal and postnatal care, that the department should be notified. And they actually started a policy whereby, well, the hospital would give all newborns shots of vitamin K.
Okay, right.
And they determined that vitamin K was a harmless shot and potentially life-saving, because one child in 1,000 or something has this bleeding
deficiency. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So,
that. My sister had that.
Okay, so there you go. So they give these shots to these babies, and this couple didn't want their baby to have a shot. They were Christian or whatever, and they said, look, the baby's fine. It was born, doesn't need any vitamin K 30 seconds after it's out of the mother's womb, like it's fine.
Yeah.
And they said, ooh, well, we're taking your baby. Yeah, and so they took the baby in a couple of cases, and in fact, a bunch of cases, they started taking the babies. And then, now this recent case, they took the baby for 24 hours.
Okay. And
the court gave the baby back. Of course, in the meantime, the family was panicked.
Of course they were.
But too bad. I don't think they said they're sorry or anything.
They never did.
The determination was made to give the baby back because the policy of removing children every time the parents refused the vitamin K shot was rescinded officially by the Department of Children and Families a year ago.
Okay.
But the hospital still complies with the directive to call them, and they still move forward in certain cases. And so this was one of them. They just decided to take the baby. So be warned, if you go to a hospital to have your child and they give a recommendation you don't like, if you refuse it, there's a possibility that they'll call that child abuse, basically.
Yeah.
So, because you're not the professional.
No, that's right. What do you know, right? I just spent 9 months with this thing, and it's unbelievably painful to get it out.
That's right.
And now you're taking it away. Look.
That's right. We don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
The UN has started, for everyone's convenience, everyone's climatological security, an ETF that is going to support sustainable energy policy and companies, basically.
Okay.
So like Solyndra, and
they're broke.
Well, they're going to do it again, or whatever it is. The point is that if you want to be part of saving the future, you can invest in the UN's ETF,
right?
That will now support sustainable.
Well, we did
projects.
Notice the last show we had that California pension system, $13 billion or whatever, is just they're getting rid of all of their oil stocks and climate stocks. And climate polluting stocks or whatever. So maybe they can invest in this ETF.
Let's
exchange traded fund.
Exactly. All right. Oops. One more really small thing. This is just a light note. Did you notice Yahoo changed their logo?
No.
Yeah, they changed their logo.
To?
It was still Yahoo.
Okay.
But now they cleverly are using a different font. I can't even keep a straight face saying this. It's the dumbest thing ever. They're just using like a regular bold lowercase Arial or something. That's it.
That's it.
So it used to have like the Y was a little bigger and the H was a little bigger, and it was from their original ad, which is Yahoo.
Right.
And it was very cute and whatever. Now it's just Yahoo. It's just this one word, lowercase. Look, they don't even capitalize their own company. Like it's not worth capitalizing, like E.E. Cummings or something.
Yeah.
It's like what? It's just, and I laugh because I guarantee you they paid somebody like $1 million.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And the person, and I would have loved to just be in that creative meeting where they come in and say, how about
we
we just use regular font, except it's bold. And we don't capitalize. We don't capitalize. We're Yahoo. We don't capitalize. Why would we capitalize?
What do you think? Everybody go around the...
That's right, everybody. Let's go for it.
On board for this?
Arial, regular,
yeah, okay,
lowercase.
Good. Yep, okay, good.
Done deal.
Done deal, that's right.
Oh my
and
God.
Send them the invoice. We had...
Send them the invoice.
So the...
$1 million? $1 million, right?
Hey, what do they care? It's pocket change.
Well, exactly.
They probably had that in the cash register out front. Collect it on the way out.
Seriously.
So yeah, but the...
God, it's just so bad.
Well, you know, they did that here in Gainesville a couple of times. First of all, they had
Well, our logo is a path to something.
yeah, right, and
Every path starts with passion or something.
something like that, right? And they have a little path that goes through the, and it's just, I mean, they paid tens of thousands of dollars to come up with that. They solicited a lot of stuff from the people and so forth, but it was universally reviled. I mean, and I think they stopped using it. I think they've actually called for another one because it's been. But of course, the one before that, which only lasted about a week, was so funny. They printed up all these buttons that said, "I'm here to help."
Oh, geez.
I mean, that lasted about 20 minutes because the joke. I mean, from the government, and I'm here to help. I mean, what? And they actually did it, and they didn't think about that. Being the most stupid thing you could ever do. Fortunately, they ditched it after I think about a week. And because people were just, you'd walk up in your inspector or something, and people go, bah! You're what?
Yeah,
You're here to hell. I don't think so.
Take it off my property.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, Yahoo, little light note, whatever. It's hideous thing. But all right, let's see. So I guess we're gonna end a little early, huh?
Yeah, looks like it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. As I say, this next week will be, I guess we're going to see who's going to suck the wind out of everything, the oxygen out of the air, as so to speak, with the, maybe, as you said, maybe not the impeachment business, but the climate stuff. I saw where our friend Gretta was up in Canada.
Oh, really?
To rounds of applause, hundreds of people, if not thousands. She's up in Montreal, I think, giving her story, and people are all, gaga.
She can eliminate another 3% of the world's carbon from up there.
From Canada? Are you kidding? Mm-hmm. And of course, I guess they're all panicky about the subfrost melting and giving off the methaners, and polar bears dying, except they have more than we've had for a while. Somehow they managed to survive. But anyway, she's up there, cajoling the Canadians into some, and they're the ones that'll go for it, I guess. But she is apparently scheduled, 16. She's flying all over the place. I don't know if she's going to sail, and of course maybe she'll take a train or a Prius and go places. I don't know, but she's committed, all right. And what's interesting is to see once again since our last show, I went on to see some of the stuff that was on there, and I mean there are people that are just worship every word that comes out of her mouth. She's the Joan of Arc. She's the Messiah. We bowed down and listened. She is exactly what we're looking for. We are. And they're not going to burn her at the stake because that would pollute. But because
she's a true believer and a frank speaker.
Yeah,
and until she's not, and it'll be interesting to see if it would be so just. Can you imagine if somehow she turned, if she decided, for example, carbon's not the problem, or it's better for the Earth to be warmer. Well, I don't think that, but of course, unfortunately, I'm at an age where I'm probably not going to get to see this, but I'd like to be around here in 2030 and see what she's doing. Well, that's what I'm getting at. She's 16 now. She's totally in the developmental stages.
Right.
And she must be bombarded with information constantly.
Sure.
In terms of this entire thing. And sure, it's probably 90% from one side.
At least 90.
But if there's one thing, if she saw, I noticed the guy who goes as Steve Goddard on the web. That's not his real name, but he says the other day he tweeted that he's gaining 100 followers every 10 minutes or something these days. It's been an incredible jump. And he's the guy who places a lot of debunking videos up.
Okay.
Although he's in a great conversation argument with a guy named Potholer, which Potholer is a really neat guy. He's a researcher. He's not a scientist, but he's incredibly good at rooting out articles.
Okay.
And the sourcing the materials for articles. Somebody will post a graph and he'll say, well, that graph comes from this magazine,
right,
which was published in 76 for this guy or whatever, which came from this study. And he traces it all the way back, and he's got a proper British accent for the whole thing.
Oh,
and
right.
So he's neat, and they have a neat back and forth, and I learned a bunch about both sides of the climate debate from them. So
good. Just as a
Tony
quick,
Heller is his real name, I think.
Okay, I've got a quick question. What was the movie where the really smart guy was solving the math problems, and it was
Good Will Hunting?
Good Will Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting in Good Will Hunting. Of course, he's never been to college or anything. Speaking along this line, here's just a quick aside. He goes into this bar, and this psychology college graduate from Harvard or whatever starts quoting some stuff about, showing how smart he is. And of course, Good Will Hunting, he comes up and says, oh, you got that from so-and-so and so-and-so.
Yeah.
You should have read, and you're just going to quote that again next year, blah, blah, blah. Just nailed him, shut him down completely. So that when you see about, it was a great scene. When you see and of course the best part was, how do you like them apples? When he gets the girl's phone number. Oh my God, that was so funny.
They won an Academy Award for that screenplay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I tell you, it was really one of the really good movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done.
All right. Well, I think I am as well, actually.
A little early. You're going to post up here some stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Now you're going to Atlanta, right?
Yes. So.
Which reminds me, we might not be here Wednesday.
Yes.
I need to make sure that I probably will at least sign on by my Facebook account to give you some update.
Okay.
But you're going to be out of town.
Yes, I am.
So what we might do is to have our joint get together on Thursday.
Yes.
But worst case condition, 4:00 on Wednesday, I will at least show up for some stuff, and then if nothing else works out, then we'll be back next Sunday, a week from today.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? The announcement.
That's right.
From the Donester. Thanks, Scott, for joining us. We appreciate it. Hope you had a little fun. One of these days we may try to do an intermission so I can read the comments or something like that. We'll see. Anyway, we'll be back, as he said, Wednesday or Thursday, so look for us then.